bring in the referee, Jimmy Haughney, and we're going to pick the fat off of what went down on Saturday and talk a little bit about his career. Let me just add him in. One moment. Hey,
Where's
there
your
he is. You sneaked up on me, my brother.
Listen, mate, I'm going to charge you waiting time. I could have had another Guinness in that 4 minutes.
What's that?
I could have had another Guinness in that 4 minutes.
At least 2, I would have suggested.
Yeah.
How are you, my brother?
I'm all good, mate. You?
Mate, it has been long overdue. It is an absolute goddamn pleasure to see you on this live. Listen,
Cheers,
welcome to the Gunman Insta Live. This is a platform for fighters, coaches, referees like yourself to come on and share your journey and your thoughts with the fight fans. Now,
Cheers,
for
mate.
anyone that does not know this man, you need to know Jimmy Haughney. This guy is a former Queensbury Boxing League champion from 2019. He is a professional boxing coach, and he is currently the Quest boxing referee. Welcome to the live, Jimmy.
What an introduction, mate. What an introduction.
Mate, I always somehow pull him out.
You do, mate.
It was my 100th live yesterday. 100 lives.
I can't believe you've made me 101. All that talk, mate. You had that planned all along, didn't you?
It just felt like that, Jimmy.
Oh,
It just felt like that. But 100,
listen, you're busy man, and I get
mate,
that.
100
Good.
evenings, chatting to boxers and fighters. I mean, mate, I should be getting an MBE for this kind of.
That'd soon be there, mate, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing. It's good.
So, what's your favourite role in boxing? You've been a ref, you've been a fighter, you've been a coach. What do you like the most?
Well, I'll be lying if I said it weren't fighting, because that was all I ever did.
Mm.
You know, and then you just help people, don't you? You go along the journey, you help out in the gym, and that goes back from the amateur days, helping out in the gym. Then you go, like say, compete yourself as amateur. Then you like go as the unlicensed scene.
Mm.
I just like helping people. That's my priority, my number one goal. So I love the coaching side of it all, but I fell in love with the refereeing side of it. You know, it's something I had no ambition, to be honest with you.
Mm.
I always thought, because I like my football, I'd end up doing football, coaching and that. People have asked me, because they know I do this, the reffing and the boxing. Oh, do you want to referee a football match? It's totally different. No, thanks, no chance. All them mums and dads shouting. Yeah, I do help out on my boys' team sometimes, but that's under 11 football. It's totally different. You're talking heavyweight boxing is the biggest punching in it, and I get the same adrenaline. Wes, I enjoy it. I enjoy it all. Joe, I train people with special disabilities, and there's no better feeling seeing a couple of them when they leave me and like they're just happy, because they're not given a chance in life, are they? Sometimes they're judged because of their disability, and to me, that's my most rewarding. I've got a special client, Oliver. I've trained him for years. He is Down syndrome, but you'd never know because he's just a character. And when he leaves me every Saturday morning, it's just it sets up my weekend.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing. No, I love the energy that coaches put in. So
Yeah.
are you finding coaching and refereeing, being honest, it's a substitution to fighting? It's just keeping
A
you in the
million
game
percent.
and
Million percent. When I knew my day was done with boxing, I thought I'm still involved with boxing anyway. I've got a pro license, as you stated earlier, as a coach. I'm part of a boxing gym that I've worked at for 12 years. I've set the boxing up in now. So I'm always, no matter what, I'm in the boxing ring every near enough every day. Doing one-to-ones with clients, taking classes, taking boys out on sparring away days and corner them in their fights. But to me, I love the coaching side, but you don't get that same adrenaline as being in the
no.
middle of that ring. It's the best seat in the house, as you see Saturday. I was spoilt with the fights I got given on Saturday.
Oh mate, we're gonna
Absolutely
come on to that.
spoiled.
Yeah, we're gonna come on to that. We are gonna come on to that. Listen, let's just talk about your fighting. You had what from what I can see around 41 fights.
You've been studying me, ain't you?
41 fights. I mean, listen, mate. How do you get time to have 41 unlicensed
And it's over
boxing fights?
the years. It's from the amateur days as well. It's not an all. It's not. Listen, it's not all unlicensed. Jesus, I'm 40. I'm 40. 46 on Sunday. I definitely ain't that many as the unlicensed. No,
Oh, really? So how many of them
I
amateurs?
had I had 27 amateur. So the rest, the balance is the unlicensed.
Oh, wow. So you went from amateur
I
to unlicensed. What?
I had time out from the amateurs for
Right.
years, like years. I had injuries where I broke my pelvis playing football. I was told I could never do football again, boxing again, anything. And I defied the doctors that I was under at the time. Went through physios, hydrotherapy sessions, and I proved all of that was wrong, including the doctor. And there you
Mm,
go. I boxed at the top level. On back in the day, it was Queensbury, wasn't it?
mm,
Boxing national titles, regional titles. Yeah,
yeah.
I
What?
think I retired the oldest ever champion as it goes, 41.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
go.
I think that'd be close. I think that'd be close. Did So why did you go? You had a break from the amateurs, and that's why you went unlicensed.
Yeah, well,
You didn't
I
want to
just
turn over.
no, because I never had the passion that I do today, Wes, if I'm honest. But as a kid, you're growing up. You know, I think most people, most boys that go in the boxing gym, they probably had some form of not being bullied, but there was like you just
Yeah,
wanted to fit in with everyone.
yeah. Some
So
form of
I was
therapy.
always the skinniest, the quietest. And then yeah, it just happened. Like I went to the Hollerton gym. I think it was 1986. I was 8 years old. With a local lad from where my nan used to live in Kennerton. So we ended up in there, and then it just grafted from
Mm,
there. And then born and bred in Bermondsey. Fisher was up the road, me old Fisher club. And my coach back in the time, bless him now, Stevie Isa, he put his arm around me, and like he did with every person in that stable, with the likes of Dave Walker, Peter McDonough, Ted Cheeseman, Elvis, Obed, Daniel Dubois. You
mm.
got who else was there? Just box Canelo, forget his name now.
John Ryder.
John Ryder, John Ryder. You know, we was a good stable, but that's down to the hard work of my old coach. I still, although he passed a year ago, a couple of weeks ago, I still look up to him every day. I got a photo. I got a memorial wall in my
Mm,
gym with my old Fisher vest, photo of him, all my memorabilia. And every time I come back from a show, when I'm reffing, I walk in there, the door opens, and the first thing I look at is him. And it sounds a bit weird. And there's a little wink comes from him and say, "Yeah, you've done well again."
mm,
And that's him. I thank him for that. Like, yeah,
mm,
he done that to everyone
mm.
out of Fisher. And anyone
If,
everyone on here that's from Fisher will say exactly the same thing.
Absolutely. Anyone who's in this live, pop your questions in. If you've got any questions for Jimmy, pop them in, and I will ask him. Even if you want to ask some interesting refereeing questions, let's get them asked. Let's ask him about the show at Crest.
Get the haters on now.
Yeah, get some hate, get some, get some hate in there. And make sure you're following this man. Make sure you're following the Gunman as well. We've got some exciting lives coming up, so make sure we keep supporting each other, following each other. So you were 26 fights, 26 wins, I should say, of your 41 fights, and you
Yeah.
lost a fair few as well. 14
14.
losses,
I lost
one
14 and
draw.
drew one.
Yeah. Who was the hardest fighter that you fought?
Cool, that's a good question. Uh, I'd have to say Steve Albone. Uh,
Is it hardest?
he
Why?
was former national champion.
Well
He,
skilled.
wa- he was just, I mean, like my debut on Queensbury was against him.
Oh,
And you know
wow.
what he went on to do? He went on to win everything in there as well.
Yeah,
Just
cleaned
like,
up, didn't he?
yeah. And then I boxed him again in a rematch. And not many people want to do that, but
Ah,
he schooled me the first fight, although he couldn't put me away. But when I watch it back, I do laugh and I even say to myself, how the hell did I stay in that ring with him? Because
blimmin' hell. You're going
he's
back a few
relentless.
years.
He was relentless. Um, but yeah, I'd say him. Yeah, he deserves all the credit he gets.
Hardest hitter?
Oh, hardest hitter, believe it or not, was a journeyman. Uh,
Really?
Danny Donchev. He caught me clean, and I felt like my jaw just
Oh,
shattered. Like he
really?
caught me. I was Ross Minter, who was pro, so he went, Jim, don't engage with a war with him. He's been in with some top pros, like Johnny Garton and that. He said, he can mix it. And I thought, nah, I'm all right, because he weren't sharp, and that was always my style. I was always sharp. I was quick on my feet, quick hands, and
Yeah,
I
southpaw as
just
well, weren't you?
yeah. But I walked onto a straight right hand, and I thought, you're right, Ross. I should have listened to you, but it weren't. I weren't in much danger. It wasn't a shot where I was like dazed. It was just like, wow, you got power. But you look at it, like I say, you've only got to look him up on Boxrec to see the people he's been in with. Like
Yeah.
he's had over 100 fights. I think he's only been stopped something like 14 times in all them
Oh,
fights. You
incredible,
know,
incredible.
yeah, he was tough. And David Burns in the amateurs as well. He was a stable mate of Fisher. He's another one. He could bang. Jesus,
Yeah.
yeah, he's another
Do you
tough
miss
lad.
it? Do you miss it? And what do you miss about it?
I missed the fighting because I always had the best support, no matter what. Always done 100+ tickets minimum.
Yeah.
I love the adrenaline. You can't beat that adrenaline when you're doing that ring walk. And then I just used to love a tear up. That was my style. Like you'd listen to the instructions in your corner, but then to get like the golden sand, your game plan changes once you get it, and it did. But
Mm.
I never ever got stopped in the whole every fight I had. I never ever got stopped, so that's something I'm very proud
No,
of.
not that I remember.
You know,
I remember you loved the tear up though, man.
Steve Albone was the only one to put me on my ass. But
Oh, really?
yeah, but
I didn't know
listen,
that.
it's the best thing to ever happen to me because I
Mm.
learned from it. Even though, look, when you win fights, you learn, you lose, you learn, you draw, you learn. But that
Mm.
was right. I need to change something because
Mm. What's your favourite fight of yours?
favourite fight,
Mm.
I'd say the Aaron Thomas one, if I'm
Yeah,
honest. You know, because he
because
was a champion, and like, yeah, he was a champion. I used to go and support him, cheer him on, but then we come head to head, and I thought, you know what? It was funny because we was at Epsom as it goes, and he was sitting down all cool, ready to fight, and he went, apparently we're fighting next, and I thought, okay, bring it on. You know, I was boxing for titles at the time, so and at a higher level, so I thought, well, okay, it is what it is. Friendship goes aside, and yeah, and I don't know if you've seen that fight. It was an absolute
yeah, I did
unbelievable
see that.
fight.
I'm just remembering it. Yeah, I mean, it was quite close though, wasn't it?
It was
It
close.
was quite
I think I
close.
needed. I think I'd have stopped him if there'd been one more round, if I'm honest. And I think he'd admit that.
And
We had good words.
you didn't win his belt either when you won it.
No, he paraded it, walked into the ring, and then walked out with it. No, no, it's different division.
That was one of your last fights, wasn't it?
It was my very last fight.
That was your
West, because
last
COVID.
fight. Yeah.
Yeah, because COVID
It's
kicked
interesting.
in. COVID kicked in. I picked up a double hernia in the fight before that against Rowan
Right.
Hudson. Yeah, COVID kicked in. I needed surgery. I never went through it. Like I had the hospital appointment during COVID, and I was like, I'm not, because it was obvious. Like, who's going to go and sit in an hospital with all what's
Mm.
going on? So, and I was 41. I think shows came back on probably
Yeah,
2001,
that little break.
late 2001. I never had that desire
Mm.
anymore. COVID mentally messed me up anyway.
Mm.
Like my anxiety's through the roof now. It still is. I've had counselling for it and everything. Like, but it doesn't help it. It's just like it's like taking a paracetamol. It cures it for a while, and then
Comes
you know
back.
you get them demons, don't
It's
you?
really interesting that your most satisfying fight was your last one. It's really interesting that because you're an older fighter when you had that fight, and you're putting that as your best performance and then retiring.
It was weird. Like he wanted a rematch, but there couldn't have been a rematch because of COVID anyway. Obviously, I needed surgery, and to this day, I've still not had that surgery because I've put more weight on now. I feel comfortable in my size, and like the extra weight is comforting the problem. So
Mm.
I'm in no rush. I can still do my pad work. I can still go for a run, but I would never get in that ring with like saying no stones unturned. Do you know
Mm.
what I mean?
Let's ask some ref questions quickly before we talk about the Quest show.
Yeah, go on, mate.
So let's ask some ref questions, right? And no naming any promoters or naming any particular fights.
Go on then.
Yeah. Have you
Sounds like a quiz.
seen Have you seen any fighters throw fights deliberately?
Um, yeah, yeah, I have. That's an honest
So it
answer.
still goes
Yeah.
on like you're going down in round 3, yes, and the man's falling over like Humpty Dumpty, falling
So
falling off like
I
Humpty
can tell
Dumpty.
I can tell you a situation I had. It's either the beginning of the year or the late end of last year. I was at a show. Load of fighters come down to this show. I stopped 7 fights out of 8. And the last fight, I'm not going to name the name for obvious reasons. It's not right to. The towel came in, and the punch wasn't even landed on him in the second round. I thought, everyone thinks when the towel comes in, you've got to accept the towel. I'm sorry. I had visions of everything. His eyes were good. His legs were good. He wasn't caught with the punch or any punches at all. Each one did an early night. So what I did is I kicked the towel out and let the fight carry on, and it went the distance. And after, when I left, all the crowd was saying like, "Well done! Like we've paid money to come and see this." And you know, you had that one idiot just wanted to do what the rest, but the others were beaten. Like it wasn't. I didn't stop them because they wanted to throw fires. They was beaten. Like they, you know, their safety was at risk in my eyes. So I done the right thing and
Yeah,
done the
that's a good
stoppages. But
story.
this one guy, I've known him years, and I'm thinking, no, you're playing the same game. I'm not having it. And I kicked the towel out and yeah, carried on.
Love that, love that. Have you ever taken a punch as a referee?
Nearly on Saturday. Nearly on Saturday.
Did
That
you?
was a close. That was
You could,
the fight with your
you could
guy.
name that one.
That was the fight with your guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
Harry Mirza.
it was one of them. There was a coming together by the ropes. I was looking. I don't know if you look. I looked down the line of the ropes, didn't I, to see what's coming on. Obviously, when they're working on the inside, because if I stand behind them, I'm not seeing nothing. So I was looking down, and it was your guy. He backed off, and I think the other fella, I forget his name now, from Oxo's gym, he first
Morris.
shot, and I literally had to slip it leaning back, and I felt the wind of the shot, and I thought, oh God, that was lucky. That was the only one.
Good job, you still got your
Yeah,
reflexes, Jimmy.
it was like you paid him to do it or something. Where's no one here today?
Well, there was that. There was that. But listen, so let's talk about my guy. So I've recently opened a stable, a promotional stable, Gunman Promotions. I now sponsor 11 fighters.
Well done, mate.
I manage a few fighters. I sponsor a few fighters. It's really excelling. But Harris Mirza, I didn't know too much about him. I interviewed him on here. I always research everyone who comes on here. And I was quite
Right.
excited by what I saw. I thought, he's quite a special talent. The fact he's started on Quest at 17 years old,
Yeah.
I mean, that takes some balls fighting. He's fought a 29-year-old in his second fight. He's always involved in exciting
I'll
fights. And so
fight him. I'm 40.
I
I'm
decided to sponsor
46.
him.
I'll fight him.
Huh?
I'm 46. I'll fight him.
Yeah,
no,
yeah. Well, we
no,
can
I'm
make that
joking.
happen, no problem.
No, I know him. I've reffed him before. I've reffed him Saturday,
Yeah,
obviously, as you know, and I've reffed
yeah.
him
What do you think of
before.
him?
I like him. You asked me ages ago, didn't you? And obviously, I don't like to say too much because I'm not a biased official. I'll tell you how it is. He's exciting. He's very fit. I'll give him that. And the first fight I done it, I think he got fight of the night that night, if I can remember. I normally, whenever if I'm involved in a which I call a toe-to-toe unbelievable, where I've hardly got to break you up fight, and it is punch for punch, then I'll always give the credit to Jonathan Millard, the MC. I'll say, look, congratulate both fighters for me. And I remember doing that to him Saturday, and I done it to him the fight before.
That was some fight by them on Saturday, Morris and Mirza. Those two absolutely went
Yeah.
at it. I mean, I did have my man winning every round, if I'm honest.
Uh,
But they went at it.
Yeah, I agree. Look, when we referee them fights on Quest, we're quite fortunate because there's normally we have the 3 judges ringside, one in the ring, and then one gets a fight off. But there's Seamus Dunn was missing on Saturday, so basically there's 4 of us, all 3 had to judge and 1 had to ref. So the referee doesn't score it, and I love that part of it because that means I can enjoy the fight, get involved with the emotion of the fighters, which you feel their adrenaline anyway, just when you give them their instructions. And yeah, like I say, I didn't score it because I didn't have to. But from my honest opinion, watching it, I don't disagree with you. I would have said, like, if it had been my scorecard, I thought we nicked every round. But I will give credit to the young lad because he was game. His nose
Oh,
went early, didn't he?
oh,
He was game.
he was
He
game, yeah.
he didn't quit, but I didn't expect him to because I know Oxo's John out of there, and he's got a good stable.
No,
So I
Fair
knew
play to
that would be a
both.
classic because any of his fighters, they can all
Mm.
box at all levels. They're all good boxers. He's a good coach.
Let's get on to the main event because that's what people want to hear about. Now, Mac Shumba
Yeah,
versus Eri. Like, I don't think anyone, I think we all know our boxing, but I don't think anyone would have seen that fight unfolding like how it did. No one would have gone
yeah.
on them both knocking each other down in round one and then Shumba knocking him out like in round two. Like no one would have bet on that. Like I
No.
don't care what anyone says, no matter how well you know your boxing. Was it a surprise for you?
Uh, yes, it was, and I'll tell you the reason why. Look, as you know, I judged that fight, and it didn't go to the judges, obviously, because it was a stoppage. But I've refereed Eri before, and I gave a stoppage in his favour once, because I can't remember who it was now. It was back at the K2, if I can remember, and
Mm,
he totally dismantled a prospect who I believe was won a national title himself at
mm.
the time, and I saved him from an hiding. I don't know if you've ever seen the clip. I actually dive in the middle of them both to split them up and stop it.
Was that his last fight? I think I was at it. That was his last.
Yes, I think it was. Yeah, because the fight before he was meant to have it got cancelled.
Yeah,
But
I was at it.
someone
I was
didn't
at
make
it.
weight, if I can
Yeah, I
remember.
was at it. Dismantled the guy.
Yeah, and
Like you
so
could hear the body shots from the different postcodes
yeah,
type
he
dismantling.
he ain't a big fella, but he's tall. But he's another one. Just by when I break him up, he's very strong. You can see that. You know what I mean? He's got explosive power. Um, but I was surprised with the outcome because I remember being ringside when Nate Scott boxed that Shumba, and I thought Nate done a similar job to what Eri does. He that's probably Nate's best performance I've seen him to date as well. He
The
dominated.
second fight, you mean?
Yeah, he dominated
Yeah,
that
because
fight.
the first fight I had Shumba just nicking the rounds. He was just nicking the rounds.
I think I refed the first fight if I can remember.
Yeah, but then he didn't. The second fight he stopped him, didn't he?
Yes,
He just didn't move on. He just wasn't moving as well. But Shumba impressed everybody. He
the
really did.
power. It was the power that surprised me the most because I didn't. Like I said, the times I've seen him with Nay, I didn't see Shumba have that sort of power. He never.
Yeah.
Was he withdrawing, holding back? I don't know. Or to me, I got to give credit to Nay for that because he was. He boxed him, didn't he? He didn't engage in a war, but when he did, he tucked up, chin down, chin on his own chest, and he worked him. And like that's credit to Nay and Dave Clark for that game plan that night.
We've got a
But
crack.
that's Shum.
We've got a cracking question here, which I have to answer before it scrolls off my screen. But
Go
we've
on.
got Mateus Cubits official. He is saying, "Ref, why is boxing the only sport while we don't get the score whilst it's happening?"
That's a great question. I totally agree with that. It should happen because it takes the pressure off us. Because you look, boxing's riddled. No matter what level, what I won't say every promotion because I know the ones I work for, they're fair. They are what they are. What you see, that's why they're the number one in my
Mm,
eyes. um, it just takes the pressure off us. But a lot of people think that referees give all the scoring all the time, and we don't. I've had it before. I've refereed fights. I've gone out get a bit of fresh air in between my interval, and I've had abuse from the fighters and family. And I think I'm not the one that scored this fight.
mm.
I'm with you. I believe it should be. But I remember it in the amateurs was used to have the three judges press the button at the same time to register
Yeah, yeah.
and
I've
that was
always said,
horrible. It didn't work. But there's no reason why, officials, like the, I can't remember what they call them now, that walk around, just check the scorecard and then go, right, this is it.
yeah.
I
I
got,
mean, I think as a fighter, I think you'd want to know. I used to always, when I was boxing, I'd come back to my corner. I'd always ask, "Did I win that round?" I would always ask. I always found myself saying, "Oh, well, that's my
I,
round, isn't it?" And
I
I'd come
don't,
back, and that was my.
I,
That was my. I'd like. I'd almost want that clarity. Actually, when I think back here, I only had 11 fights. So I'm not quite a 41 fight veteran, but almost every single one, I went back to the corner. That's my round, isn't it? Yeah, I won that round, didn't I? Oh, it's close up. I used to always just justify it with my corner, but
yeah.
like see how they're saying it the same as me. I think you want to know the score, don't you?
If I'm honest, yes and no. I would want to know and I wouldn't want to know because it could change. It could change you mentally. I think with experience, a lot of the time, you know when you've won a round, you know when you've lost a round, you know when you've won a fight, you know when you've lost a fight. I mean, I've had decisions when I was on Queensbury, which even the fighters that I boxed and I didn't get wins against, they know that I beat them because I spoke to them, and the videos don't lie. But it is what it is. But also one fights I didn't think I won, so it's sort of, it can even itself out. But I think on the pro game, definitely there should be something in place to.
I mean, Mateus is making another great point there. Wouldn't it be great if you could turn the TV on and it's round 8 and you know who's winning
Yeah.
as a sport? Because
No, yes,
if it's Formula One, you turn the TV on, F1's on, you can look at the scoreboard and go, oh look, Verstappen's 20 seconds ahead.
look, but
Or you
then
can look at the tennis and go, oh, Djokovic is 2 sets up.
yeah.
But in boxing, you turn it on and you don't have a goddamn clue what's going on, and nor do the fighters, nor do the participants of the sport.
The only way you find out in the on the TV is a lot of the time you got the co-commentator. 9 out of 10, it's what's his name, like Carl Froch or someone, and they'll have their own scorecard on the thing. And 9 out of 10, like I said to you, it's all about experience. They very rare they get that scorecard wrong, very rare. But you've got incidents like the what's his name, Taylor and Catchall fight with Ian John Lewis.
Yeah.
How wrong did he get that?
You see some bad ones, though. You do
You
see
know,
some bad
it
ones.
happen. It does happen. But look, I think it's a fair question. Yeah, I don't see
Really
why it
good.
shouldn't be.
Really good question, that is. Really good question, that
Also,
is.
the other way you can look at it is the judges. Why do the judges need to be at ringside with technology in today? Why can't they watch it on there? It's all on TV. Now, I'll be honest with you. When I'm sitting ringside and I've got the ropes are here in front of me, I've got the fighter with his back to me and he's getting worked on the inside just because his body's shaking back towards the ropes. How do I know that they're not punches landing on the point scoring zones on your body, your face, whatever, or he's tucking up? To me, if he's under pressure, I'm seeing it right. Well, look, he's still on the ropes and it can swing that way. Where if you've got it on the TV, like, I won't say VAR because I think it stinks, but do you get what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
should be a better angle of looking at it, and then you could score it. You could see what's going on in the ring rather
Yeah,
than with their backs to you.
yeah.
But that'll never happen.
Showboating or straight down to business?
Sorry?
Showboating or straight down to business?
Oh, you got to be good at it, ain't you? If you're going to showboat, you got to be good at it. Yeah. Look, the one that always stood out when I was a kid was Nassim Hamid. He was the best at it, wasn't he?
Do you have a
Now,
problem? Do you have a problem with showboating, though?
as
You
a ref, I
personally,
don't. As a ref, I don't like it. If I'm honest.
do you,
And if
as a ref, do you penalise it if someone's taking the piss?
I,
Do you warn them and
I would do, yeah, I've done it. I've done it myself. Yeah, I've done that loads of times.
what?
But
Why? Why would you warn someone for entertaining the crowd?
there's a way of entertaining. Now, if you look at what's his name? Who's the one on who's they're linking him with now?
Ben
Nassim Hamid.
Whitaker.
Ben Whitaker. Look, what he's showboating, what he's doing now is better than what he did 2 fights ago when he done a spin round with his back turn and he tapped him on the on the top of the head. Yeah. If you've got ability and you've got the reflexes and you've got you've got that sharpness and you're getting away with it, of course, no, I won't punish that, never in a million years. But if you're breaking the rules with it, it's a total different story. To
So
be fair,
as a referee, you try to stamp it out.
you stamp it out in a way, in a respectful way, where you got to remember it ain't just about the fighters in the ring as well. You got the fucking chance of causing a riot in the crowd as well. You got to remember it's all about the levels that you're at. Now,
Got you.
Ben Whitaker, he's sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. If he plays up, he'll be punished. On these promotions, it's the referee and the fighters.
No,
And the last
I got you.
thing you want to do is see like people coming to pay a lot of money for these fights, promoters putting on these shows, and it gets. I've been at shows, I've boxed on shows where tables have gone flying across the ring, across the the audience. Now, like I say, if you're good at it and you're not like breaking the rules, then no, I haven't got a problem with it at all.
I was going to just say, lastly, because I'm conscious it's getting late, but influence of boxing,
Yes,
good or bad for the sport?
it's got its pros and cons in it. I think, Wes. I think if I can remember, what's his name started that? Spencer Oliver, didn't he? He was one of the first ones to set up the YouTubers.
Oh, is
Uh,
it?
yeah, Yeah, that KSI and that. Yeah, if you look it up, yeah, he was behind
I
that.
didn't know Spencer Oliver was one of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, he's one of the ones that founded them. Look, they are good, some of them.
What we got here? There's levels in boxing. You can always showcase skills without being cocky. That's really good. There are good. Some of them. Sorry, Jimmy, to cut you off. Yeah, some of the influencers are good. But I've commentated on a show where two guys had never fought before and were main event.
See that,
But both of them had like over 100,000 followers. But
and
they were
that,
main
like you say,
event at the O2.
it's crazy, isn't it?
And I was like, surely this isn't right. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and if you can sell seats, sell tickets, you can headline.
You've just answered what I was about to say. It's all about bums on seats, and
Yeah.
it's the pocket money for the promoter. If you're putting pocket money in that promoter's pocket, then you're gonna get. Look, you've earned that right. I ref the show earlier in the year. The main event, there was no one left. It was the last fight night. There's about probably 10 people left in the show. All the big ticket sellers were on earlier.
Mm,
It
yeah.
it is
We've
what it
got
is. But the influencers,
XJ230096. XJ239096. He says, yes, gunman. And I want to say respect to him back because I love people showing a bit of love on here. Thank you very much for supporting and following. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, mate. Listen, we agree on it, but I think as boxing purists, we've had to get used to it.
yeah.
Like, you just got to get used to
But
it.
look,
Do you know what I mean?
you had it was either, I think it was Jake Paul or Logan Paul boxed Tommy Fury.
Mm.
Now Tommy Fury's from a famous family, as you know.
Yeah, Jake Paul. Yeah, Jake Paul
He
boxing.
should
Yeah.
not be being put down by a jab by one of them two brothers. You know,
Mate, I mean, what about Jake Paul versus Tyson while we're on this?
I've got no interest in it
But
whatsoever.
you'll
That's the
watch
bit
it,
I
wouldn't
don't
you?
like. Look,
You'll watch it
Tyson's
though,
had
wouldn't
his
you?
day. He's obviously skint, isn't he?
He's on the payroll.
That's it. So look, you can't blame him. If he can get away with it and get paid millions again
Uh,
for having his day, but you got to remember how he finished his career. It weren't nice
yes,
for his
Ronnie
team.
Chisholm jumping in. I don't want to say it right to him.
Ronnie, I like Ronnie. He's a good man.
Yeah, I didn't see you at the Quest show on Saturday. Where were you, Ronnie? But yeah, no, listen, yeah, he's obviously skinned. It makes me sad to see old fighters jumping in. Like, if Mike Tyson gets done by, well, when he gets done, you almost got to say, it's annoying to say that, but when he gets done by Jake Paul, it's a sad day for the fight game, isn't it?
It is. Look, you got to remember, Ricky Hatton made a comeback. You know, he lost his fight in 2012, his last ever fight, and then he came back, and it was sad to see him. Like people like me, who I looked up to Ricky. You want to remember them for what they were good at in their prime. You know,
Mm,
like it's like this other one there. They took the Fury Joshua fight that's been going on for years. It was the same with Pacquiao and Mayweather, going on for years. You're never going to see the best two fighters in their prime no more on them sort of fights because it's just ain't going to happen.
mm,
Like their pathway's already made,
mm,
and it's sad. Like look at Usyk's just had to vacate one of his belts. I called it ages ago. Fury and Usyk will never have that rematch for the unification because
mm,
there's mandatory challengers that have earned their right to box for them one of them titles, and he
mm,
done it. He done it with Dillian White.
mm.
What they brought out this WBC silver belt. What the fuck is that? You know,
Mate,
you're
they've
not.
got more belts than the Primark men's section
Yeah,
now.
here we
Like, you
go.
can't work out who's got what belt. I mean, I can't even keep up with it anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, and as a boxing fan, when you can't keep up with who's got what belt and all the rest of it, you just
Yeah,
like
it's,
some belts just aren't even taken seriously. When you see
no.
man saying, "Oh, I got an IBO world title," you're just like, "Come on, mate,
But
behave
listen,
yourself."
if you're a world champion, why would you want to vacate a world title? So if you're vacating a world title, that's telling you everything, doesn't it? You
Yeah,
ain't
but I
you
know,
ain't
but you say
you
that
ain't
you say.
vacating the WBC, are
Yeah, but you say that Jaya Opataya, the number one cruiserweight,
you? Yeah.
vacated because he had a fight in Saudi for Saudi money, and I think it was the IBF said to him, "Look, you got to vacate if you want to take that fight." It was he's like, "Well, I'll take that fight. I'll get my Saudi money because I'm a prize fighter. I need to fight for
It's all that,
prizes,
isn't it?
and then I'll come back and I'll fight for the IBF. I can win the belt again." The
Yeah.
Saudi money has changed the way people think about the sport now. And listen, if your belt holder says no, you can't fight there, you've got to defend against like Tom Nobody in Bracknell, and
Yeah.
the Saudis are saying come and fight on this card. I'm going to change your shit up for you. Unfortunately, you got to push the world title to the side, haven't you? You would have to, wouldn't you?
You have, yeah. But to me, look, boxing, like you can't compete with this the Saudis. They're taking over everything.
Mm.
The golf, the boxing, this now football thing.
Mm.
But
Oh,
I feel sorry for the supporters because I love a big world title fight at Wembley Stadium at the O2 Arena. Are them days done now? I think they are.
mate, we've just got another super question. What about the upcoming Saudi boxing league? So I don't know if you've heard about them potentially just buying up all of the major organisations and making one league with like 200 fighters in, I think it is, something like that. And then you just see all the fights.
It's
I mean,
crazy, isn't it?
Vegas is already dead for fights now. Vegas is dead. Vegas is no more. It's the Saudi. It's
But
the Saudi
I
game.
got no pity for Vegas because they've had them for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
America
and
have had it
Madison
for
Square
years.
Gardens. Now it's not. You're a young fighter now. You're not going. I want to get to Madison Square Garden. I want to get to Saudi.
It's
Do you know
like
what I mean?
when Deontay Wilder was world champion. He never ever boxed out of America
Mm.
until he got beat out in Saudi.
Are you pro Saudi league boxing league?
I'll be honest with you. My opinion don't really matter, Wes. It's where the money is, and if it works and it's good, then it is what it is. But like I go back, I want to go and watch these fights, but unless they're going to be in the UK, then you just got to watch it like we all have at silly times of the night. And no, I'm not. I don't like the Saudi setup at all. If I'm honest, I think it'll all come out one day how corrupt it all is. Anyway, um, you know, like yeah, no, I'm not a fan of it, but
I,
I'll
uh,
still
I
watch it.
I quite like it.
I like
I like the way.
boxing, so I will watch it.
Yeah,
But I don't mean
but they're
I'm.
making the fights happen, and I quite like the way they've got Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren working together.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
I,
sort of
I
working
love
together,
that.
right? You know what I mean? Make it happen.
I met Eddie at one of the Quest shows at your call. I refereed one of the boys he was sponsoring that Adam Brooks fight, weren't it?
Yeah,
And I had a good chat with Eddie, and he's a lovely fella. But him and Frank Warren apparently they've not even sat in a room together in all these years
I
until the
know.
Saudi stuff. That's crazy, isn't it?
And now there's a bit of Saudi papers, then suddenly they're best mates.
There you go, money talks. Just quickly, I was going to ask you. I was talking about Quest on Saturday.
Yeah.
Did you see the Gareth Gardner Stuart Goodwin fight?
I saw bits of it, but I was up in the
Oh, right.
back room, so I was watching off the TV. But I saw it was a majority decision win for Gardner.
Yeah, that was another classic. That was another classic. I
Was
just wanted like your
oh,
opinion.
was it a classic fight?
That was a great fight,
Oh,
toe to toe.
because I only just saw bits of it. I was at the back doing interviews.
To me,
Yeah.
that was fight of the night for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and going back to that Erie and Shumba fight, I found it quite weird because, like I say, I think one of the rounds, Erie, Shumba sort of hit the canvas. No, Erie hit the canvas. His gloves touched down. Then he sort of bounced up and then put Shumba down.
Oh, do you think his glove touched the canvas there? I
It
didn't see that. I mean,
was
I
right
was
in front of
really
me.
close.
They definitely
Oh,
touched the canvas.
I didn't see that.
But
I
to
literally, I
me,
was right. I was right there.
When
But I thought
Shumba
it was a dodge
went
knockdown.
down,
Mm.
to me it weren't a knockdown because he sort of slipped with the
Yeah,
momentum. You know what I mean? Of
it was.
where
It was.
Erie got up, but his gloves definitely touched down.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, that was interesting, mate. What a fight that was. I mean, listen, like Eric got malfunctioned. Like he got hit
yeah.
with a couple of left hooks, I think,
I thought they
and
should have
and
pulled
had
him
a
out
couple of
sooner.
big overhand rights, and he just got malfunctioned. I felt
Yeah,
for.
they should have pulled him out sooner. If I'm
Do you
honest.
think so?
Yeah, he because I was in his corner where I was judging that table there. I was faced like so when he walked towards the corner, I could see his eyes. His legs had gone.
His legs were
Even when
gone.
he
Yeah.
even when he got off the stool to go out for that was it the fourth round?
Second,
Was it? Was it
second.
second round? When he got off the stool to go back out, you look at his balance. He was all over the place.
He was all over the gaff.
Yeah,
He
and
looked like he'd
I
had
thought it was dangerous for him. I really thought it was dangerous for him.
mate. Yeah, he looked like he'd had a couple of black sambucas. You know.
Yeah.
His legs were all over the place. Now listen, we've got Cole 8865 Gunman. You're definitely looking better than Jimmy. I like you.
Listen, he's probably still at work. I work with him.
It must be the trick. It must be the drip. We had another guy saying, Pete Haston, he's saying the biggest fights demand the biggest money, unfortunately. I wouldn't say unfortunately. Big
You
fights
earn it.
deserve the biggest money.
You deserve it. You earn it,
Yeah,
didn't you? Simple as
you earn
that.
it. You absolutely earn it.
Yeah.
Last thing for me then. What can we expect from you now? Are you going to just be sticking to the refereeing, or are you going to pursue the professional coaching and maybe try and find a gem and
I've had a few pro fighters that I've worked with, and I'll be honest with you, I can't fully commit to the hours that I need to. But at the time,
mhm.
I was. A lot of them. There was one. He come over from Ghana. His promoter sent him over, and he was just a messer. He just messed us around with his licensing and all that, and he weren't turning up for training. And I'm thinking, I was giving all my sacrifices to be at the gym to work with him, sorting out his stuff with the border control, and he'd come and go when it suited. And I've had a couple like not that it matters where they're from, like from Eastern European that have come in the gym and we've worked with them, and they come and go. Right now, no, I'm not going to. I'm in no rush. I've still got time, loads of time on my side, hopefully. Um, the refereeing side of it, I'm very busy. You know, I'm quite on good demand now, but that's because of the hard work I've been putting in
Yeah,
with the people that I work on the shows with. I'm
brilliant.
under quite a few promotions now, so that's good. The refereeing pro side of it, it takes a couple of years. Right, like again, right now, I haven't got that time. I want to work it when I can fit it in, and my loyalty with the promoters that I currently work with, I commit to their shows. And there's enough in my calendar as it is. I don't want to go up to Middlesbrough on a Thursday night to referee a show, you know.
Mate, you don't
But
want to be going up to Middlesbrough on any night.
yeah, yeah, true. No, but do you know what I mean? No, I'm earning good money what I'm doing,
Brilliant.
and it's what I love, and I'm working with the people that I've seen come through the ranks as fighters as well, like from being on the same shows.
Yeah, wicked.
You know, in a non-biased way. I love it. It's
Yeah,
great.
fantastic, my man. Fantastic. Listen, I won't take much more of your time. It's always a pleasure catching up with you.
Pleasure, mate.
Brilliant to catch up on that quest show. Honestly, I'm loving the quest shows. What the main events that they're serving up at the moment, the last couple have been ridiculous.
It's
Like
number one,
really
mate.
exciting fights. You
It's the
know,
number
I'm a
one
little bit of a
show.
nerd like that. I get really excited by these sort of
I
fights.
do.
You know.
Can you, Matt? Try being in the middle of them. Like it's the best seat in the house. I love it. Like I say, Alan looked after me Saturday. He gave me 6 fights to referee, and 3 out of the 6 were the 3 fights of the night. And obviously you had the Erie and Shumba. I didn't ref that one, but I was spoilt rotten with them fights on Saturday. When I looked at the fight card and I see my name
Fantastic.
alongside them, I was buzzing. I thought,
And it's
yeah,
good to see that we've got CS 460 saying I'm a national champion myself. I find it interesting what people think about it. And I hope that we've given you a nice insight into the fight game. You know, we've touched on a few topics tonight as quickly as we can. We've touched on a few topics that are really interesting at the moment with the Saudis, with the scoring and, you know, and the refereeing uh, legalities, shall we say.
yeah.
So it's been brilliant to catch up with you, Jimmy, and I
Pleasure.
respect you massively. You know that, and I
Cheers.
can't wait to see you again.
Cheers, mate. You're going to get me on number 200 next.
I'll schedule you in now, shall I?
Yeah, go on then. That'll probably, knowing your diary, it'll be next week. Nah, keep doing what you're doing, Wes.
Brilliant. Thank
You
you,
know
my
that I
man.
always tune in when I can.
Yeah, you're a top man. Thank you, everyone, for
Thank
supporting. Keep on
you.
supporting us all. Thank you so much, guys. Bless up.
Cheers, Wes. Take
Take
care.
care, pal.